I just say to people, look, zoom all the way out, look at a 10-year track record, right? Bitcoin has grown in US dollar terms at a 200% compound annual growth rate, 200% a year for 10 years, right? 12 years, whatever it's been. And you can say all that you want in terms of, oh, that's because it started out really small and there was no exchanges or whatever, and it grew. Well, the compound annual growth rate over the last 10 years has been going up this year, right? It started out the year at like 196%, and now it's at like 205. And so naturally, like you're just getting this upward movement. And so I think that ultimately what you're starting to see, whether it's MicroStrategy, Square, Tesla, et cetera, is absolutely the founders or the CEOs of these businesses happen to be individuals who are forward thinking, who are technology kind of minded, and they see that they're not going to go put 50%, but they're going to put a percentage, whether that's 1% up to, Tesla thinks got 7-8%. Michael Saylor from MicroStrategy is taking a very different approach. He's saying, listen, I'm going to get the market to give me free dollars, right, at 0% interest rates. And I'm going to take that as free dollars that are guaranteed to lose value over time. I'm going to convert it to this sound money, this digital sound money. And I think that what we're about to see, and again, I don't know exact timing, I don't know who kind of will break the dam even further, but I think we're about to see a lot of people do this. Why would you not take free money that you can then go convert to sound money and essentially watch it continue to appreciate? And so I think that what this is going to happen is this is going to go from, on Wall Street, what was a contrarian idea has now transitioned to a consensus idea. Everyone has a Bitcoin strategy or is trying to figure out what it is. In corporate America with the treasurers, what you're about to see is we're probably on the precipice of the transition from contrarian idea to consensus idea. And when that happens, they're going to bring a lot of dollars with them, right? And so I think that you're just going to continue to see this super aggressive upwards price movement over some period of time. Maybe it's 3 months, 6 months, 9 months. Who knows what it is? I'm sure that there will be a blow off top at some point, kind of Q4 this year, Q1 next year, whatever. But the key at that point is going to be Bitcoin's not going to die. It's not going to go to zero, right? It's not a Ponzi scheme, a bubble in the sense that it's going to pop and go to zero. Instead, what you're going to see is you're going to see the consolidation again at some new floor of the value of the asset. And then we're going to go through it all over again because in 2024, we got another halving, another supply shock coming. And so it's just this like crazy, beautifully designed asset that I think now you're starting to see Wall Street, you're starting to see corporations wake up to. And here's the crazy part that you'll understand that some other listeners may not, is Bitcoin's probably the only asset that as it goes up in price, it actually becomes more attractive to the corporations because now it's getting to be big enough where they can actually play in it. And that's a wild concept, right? Because most assets, it's the exact opposite.
All right, everybody. Welcome back for another one. And I wanted to start this video off with this clip from Mr. Pomp and Jim CRAMER as they go over Bitcoin, the crypto space, and basically what they see is coming next. So DC Backer talked about this a little bit in his video today, but I actually wanted to come check out this video as well and deep dive it a little more with you guys to show you how they actually are switching the narrative, right, to altcoins. This is the story now, and they're going to slowly transition us into the next phase, right? And being a great trader or investor is always about getting ahead of the trend, right? And that's exactly what I try to help people do on this channel. That's it. All right. So first and foremost, what were a few main points that they made, right, that I want to go over with you? So one thing Pomp talked about, right, was that Bitcoin over the past 10, 12 years has been consistently performing at like 200% annual returns, right, on average. Well, what are we switching to, right? Like I said, they're making it look like we're moving to an alt season, right? Well, you zoom out a little over here, take a look at this, right? On the monthly, over time, what's been happening to Bitcoin? Right? This is Bitcoin dominance. So, or altcoin dominance rather, compared to Bitcoin. So you can see here that the altcoin dominance is consistently trending upwards against Bitcoin, while Bitcoin has been growing at that 200% annually, right? As he mentioned, well, altcoins are growing alongside Bitcoin as well, all right? And over this period of time, as I've shown you since June 2019, we have been trading in this range, essentially, basically an ascending triangle besides this one bearish month in December. That had a lot to do with the XRP dump. All right, but you can see we had a bullish reversal right there, and we're back in this ascending triangle. Once we break out, this has been the longest consolidation period we have ever seen for Bitcoin compared to altcoins. All right, so this move, what I'm getting at, is going to be probably the most explosive we've seen in altcoins since the beginning. All right. Ethereum dominance right now is like 11-12% in the market. I'm going to get into that a little more later on as well. Pomp and Kramer actually talked about Ethereum as well. Moving on to another interesting point that I heard Pomp make was that he said that he thought there was going to be yet another blow off top for Bitcoin. So he said it would be Q4 of this year, maybe Q1, just as we've seen historically, right? What have I said? Bitcoin always tops out in December. The first one, 2013, right after each halving. So it halves, then the next year it peaks in December. We had one right there, another in 2017. Now we're coming off the back of the third halving event, and that would lead us to December of 2021 being the next top. All right. So, like I said, a lot of people are saying, oh, we think the top's in right now. I don't think it's in. I think that you might see something like this, though, right? So I've shown. I mean, Bitcoin could have one more move up into like 70, 80,000, fine, right? But if it dumped again, had a pretty big wick off of that and came back down, you might see some consolidation heading into the end of the year and then another move up to finish the year. All right, I think that that's more likely just because historically speaking, that's all we've seen from Bitcoin up to this point. So why, until it changes, I'm not going to change how I'm looking at the market. All right. So as I've shown you before, this is more like what I'm expecting. All right. But that means also that we could definitely be heading into an alt season right now, and then would finish the year with another alt season. So we'll see how to play it. But basically, what I'm getting at is, well, for one, this entire market, especially the altcoins, are going to continue to explode. All right. This is the invention of a new asset class, no doubt about it. So what I really want people to do above all is stay patient. I see so much anxiety in here with people that have been in crypto for, the past 2 years or so, because they want to get rich right now, right? Everyone's messaging me stuff like that. Like, when's it coming? When's it come? Like, for one, you need to realize that you're lucky, right? You're early. You're so early that we're still in a speculation phase, right? None of these assets are actually being used for really much of anything, but they all have real world utility that could come out of this. You're just trying to pick the winners, basically. And I like to bring people back to this picture. I've shown it plenty of times on this channel, but like Pomp said in the video, sometimes you just got to zoom out. All right, you got to look at the big picture. This is the invention of a new asset class. You got crypto at about 1.7 trillion now compared to this 2.25. But as you can see, it's going to make its way into every single one of these asset classes. The stock market undoubtedly is going to run on blockchain. Who knows which blockchain is going to be used? Will it be public? Will it be private? Will it be a mixture? Who knows? And on a side note, if you guys are wondering why it looks like I'm out of breath, so I'm sitting here recording this video, and this stupid bird was just screaming its head off outside my window, and it was extremely distracting. I went and chased it off, so I could get back to work, all right? Because I'm trying to get this done. But anyway, so crypto is going to make its way into every single one of these asset classes. Stock market. There's a DEX right now being built on the XRP ledger that will allow for stock trading. It's going to be traditional assets. There's plenty on Ethereum doing the same thing. Global money supply, we know what's happening there with CBDCs and so on. Debt, I mean, we'll see the bonds, but essentially global debt is being restructured with DeFi. So now you have this lending system that's automated using smart contracts. And real estate, there's real estate assets already being tokenized on plenty of different blockchains. I know Tezos is one, just off the top of my head. And derivatives, I might be blocking this, can't really tell. But anyway, derivatives is obviously the largest asset class, and supposedly that's what XRP is coming for. That's the speculation, right? But we will see. The derivatives market is huge, and derivatives can be totally captured by smart contracts because that's what derivatives are. Options, forwards, futures, they're all contracts, right? And they can all be executed using blockchain. So crypto as a whole is going to make its way into all of these, right? Don't want to make that too long. But lastly, I said I wanted to talk about how Pomp and Kramer talked about Ethereum. So let's go ahead and watch that clip.
Well, I mean, should I be buying Ethereum?
Look, I think that there's a lot of folks who basically look at Ethereum in a couple of different ways. So first is it's important to understand Ethereum and Bitcoin are going after two completely different things, right?
Okay.
Bitcoin is going after kind of the world reserve currency, right? It wants to disrupt gold. It wants to disrupt central banks. And it wants to be this programmatic, transparent monetary policy. And my opinion and many people in the Bitcoin community is that it's going to achieve that goal, right? And so you can put whatever kind of percentage probability on that, but that's kind of what Bitcoin's going after. Ethereum basically was created by Vitalik Buterin and a few other folks. They wanted to build on top of the Bitcoin network, but they said, hey, this is too difficult. And so we need to go build on something else that has smart contract capabilities, et cetera. And so now we've ended up in this world where Ethereum, the network was built, and there's all kinds of people building applications and various products and services on top of that network. But also we now have a lot of smart contract capabilities on top of Bitcoin and other networks as well. And so what you're going to end up seeing is probably coexistence in this world, right? And a lot of people, they want to think that the world's binary. They want to say, hey, there's going to be one thing to rule everything. But ultimately what we're seeing is we're seeing the market adopt certain things on the Bitcoin network and layer 2 technologies and smart contract type capabilities. But also we're seeing that happen in a very big way on Ethereum. And in what I think is a really interesting areas, like what happens if it's just interoperable? So if you're on the Ethereum network, I'm on the Bitcoin network, and we can actually transact with each other in some, interesting way. I don't know where it goes. I'm not a developer in terms of having the technical knowledge to say, hey, here's the exact technology that's going to be the winner. But I do think that the most interesting part for investors is, look, there's a ton of innovation and experimentation happening all across this ecosystem. And the flood of intellectual capital coming into this from the world's best technologists is undeniable. And so it's just, you just got to be in the space, right? You got to have the exposure and you got to start paying attention.
So when it got to the part about Ethereum, that's when things got really interesting for me, right? Because in the beginning of the video as well, Kramer mentioned that he had dumped. He had basically said, old dog tricks, right? Whenever you are up on an investment, it's smart to take out your initial investment and just let everything ride because everything else is on the house. All right. And that's what he said in the beginning that he did with Bitcoin. So it's like the entire conversation, they set the stage, the thesis for it being cool. Thank you, Pomp. I made all that money. I got out on Bitcoin. What's the next move? Right. And then in this Ethereum clip, he starts with the first question: should I buy Ethereum? Like he's all extremely confused, has no idea what he's talking about. And do you really believe it at this point? Or do you think maybe this was all staged to begin with, right? They had their talking points. Jim Cramer doesn't go on mainstream media without talking points, right? And Pomp at this point, mainstream him. So, but anyway, now I want to hit on all the main points that Pomp actually pointed out about Ethereum or altcoins in general, right? All very interesting things that I haven't heard him really say before, but clearly he knows what he's talking about. He just pretends and says what I believe, at least, that they want him to say, right? So talk about this, and then talk about that, right? But anyway, so he said Ethereum and Bitcoin are completely different, right? They have two different goals. Basically, Ethereum was founded with Vitalik and Charles Hoskinson, a few other guys, and that they wanted to build on top of Bitcoin, but that it wasn't easy. So they went somewhere else to build a platform that had smart contract capabilities, right? And that's how Bitcoin was born, or sorry, Ethereum was born. But now he said that there are many smart contract networks, basically indicating right here for his audience that there's a lot more than Bitcoin and Ethereum, even that there's a lot more to look into in the space. And he finished that up with saying that he sees a lot of projects coexisting, essentially that there won't be one winner, and that also everything will be interoperable. All right. So he basically said what we've all been saying here outside of the Bitcoin maxi community, that there's more value to be had. Clearly, Pomp knows this, and he has just been pushing the narrative that's supposed to be pushed, in my opinion. But also his interoperability point made me think of one thing, right? When it comes to Bitcoin, Elastos, right? Because it's merge mine with Bitcoin, but it also has Ethereum sidechain for smart contracts. So it connects Ethereum proof of stake essentially to Bitcoin, right? I think in the end, Bitcoin will be the only proof of work crypto to survive, all right? Because you're going to have to build on top of that with side chains in order for that kind of energy consumption and everything to make sense. And this whole mining process is not really necessary for what's required on a smart contract platform and so on. So we'll see what happens. But ultimately, I just wanted to point out all of their main points that they hit on. And I thought it was extremely interesting that the narrative has basically shifted for Pomp. So this definitely needs to be on everyone's radar, that all of a sudden now he's saying, well, there's actually many more things out there and you just need to keep your eye on the space because it's going to grow, right? And that's my point here too. This is a new asset class and it is going to grow into something massive, and you just need to be patient and try to sift through the crap and find the gems, essentially. Try to find the projects that have sustainability, that have money behind them, and have a good potential for success. All right. Lastly, wanted to take a look at this Ethereum chart with you once again. So as I showed you, this bar cutout right here, basically this black pattern is from Bitcoin in 2017 when it was fighting against its all-time high. As you can see, the patterns are very similar. Ethereum looks to just be playing out a little slower than Bitcoin did. But even then, as you can see, right, you had this quick run up, another top, and then trying to come back, trying to break out, and then it comes back down. The same thing happened in this pattern, right? It started to break out, but it came back down. It just wasn't as dramatic. It didn't take as long. So we're still right in the cards right now with what could happen. But we'll see. I think it's really, we're getting really close for Ethereum going to have to take off, right? And now you got CRAMER talking about, should I buy Ethereum? So maybe that's the new narrative, right? And they're going to start pitching that. So, all right. Hope that was an interesting one. As you can tell, if you're new here, you can't tell, but if you've been around for a while, first day with the camera, gonna use this from now on. Finally got my green screen and everything set up, so can make things a little more professional. Also, going forward, the Discord is going to be available in my Patreon group, so I'm gonna make the Discord paid from now on, just to keep bots out and also keep our chat down to a minimum. Only people that are actually interested and want to go there and provide value, share valuable information with each other. The second tier of my Patreon is going to be the ability to follow my every day-to-day trades. All right, so if you want to see what my day-to-day portfolio looks like, I go in there. If I place a trade, I tell people exactly why I did it, what I moved to, and so on. And just to kind of add on to that, over the past 3 weeks or so, I've probably invested about $6,000 or so into random altcoins. I've more than doubled that, and I've taken the returns and moved them into more altcoins. So in my trading strategy, right, I have my buy and holds and my trades that are completely different. But right now, I'm trying to accumulate more altcoins that haven't pumped yet, because I think we are heading into this massive alt season, and I want to have the portfolio loaded up. So if you'd like to keep up with me, see what I'm doing, then that's how you do that in the Patreon group. So the link will be in the description. Definitely go ahead and join up. That helps me out, obviously helps me grow as a channel, and also be able to continue to provide this information for you. So, all right, that should do it. Hope that was informative. As always, please like and subscribe, share with your friends and family, and stay tuned for the next one. Thanks.
Paper money is going away.
Yes.
And crypto is a far better way to transfer value than pieces of paper. That's for sure.
Without a doubt.
That has its pros and cons.
Just to clarify, Tesla's not going to start selling Bitcoin anytime
we're
soon.
not.
Okay, you heard it here first, even though everyone thought that.
Yeah, right.